Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time. And subscribe if you're new. Liverpool versus Chelsea preview. Big game, massive game. Part one, I guess, to the plot. Because we got them in a month's time in the Carabao Cup. Now, let's be honest, right? This game is none of our business in terms of the media, in terms of the frenzy. Liverpool, Klopp, everybody is going to be talking about them, right? They're the main characters. And we just get to go under the radar and try to be villains and try to go against the grain and try and spoil the party. And that's got to be the mindset for the players, obviously for the manager as well. For me, going into the game, I wish the players that are coming back, and we're going to talk about the team news, I wish they were ready to 100% start, because there is a risk, right? Do we play some of the players that are back in full training, put them back into the team and try and go all out? Because we know that we need to have our tools very much sharpened at Anfield. There's no point having that space in behind and having that, you know, high line and play into our hands, because we know we play very well against the good teams, but not have the finishing, because they will have those attackers. But do we want to risk it? Do we really want to play those guys and risk their fitness for the rest of the season? I would lean on the side of no. I don't think we should be risking players for this game. As massive as the game is, the season is still long to go, still a long way to go, and we still got massive games coming up in the Carabao Cup final, in the FA Cup. And I would hate for players to be now risked and then re-injured because of this match, even though I want to win this match badly and I want to get something from this game, and we know we need these points. So it's tough for the team selection, but context coming into the game, 7 draws in a row? Obviously, the only time we've not won, which is, you know, we've lost a couple, which is the normal time, then into penalties, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, one of which, you know, we know what happened with the offside situation with Lukaku. But the point is, every single one of these games is always tight. There's 7 draws in normal time there. And to be honest, you can't split these teams in terms of recent fixtures. And even this season, we drew 1-1. And second half, I thought we were brilliant. Enzo had one of his best games. Gallagher was brilliant in that game as well. And again, if we had our finishing, if we had our tools finally sharpened, we could have won that game. So we should be feeling, you know, fairly confident as a fan base that we can come in here and compete at the bare minimum. I know we're not favourites. I know that Liverpool, like I said, with Klopp, with the fan base on the team from minute one, you know, they're now going to be fully charged for the title and for picking up those wins in all the competitions to try and send Klopp out in a good way. We know we're underdogs, but we shouldn't be coming here in this game thinking that we're going to get absolutely blammed, right, and absolutely destroyed. There needs to be a bit of resilience about the team for sure. And even tactically, I think Pochettino's shown this season, he's gone up against the top managers. He's gone up against, you know, Pep. He's gone up against Klopp. He's gone up against Emery as well. And he's not coming out of these, you know, manager battles with his backside getting slapped up. So, you know, we've been competitive. We've most of the time been the better team. Arteta as well, if you want to throw him in. So I'm expecting a good game. If it's decided by fine margins, obviously the realist in me is not confident on that side of things. But I'm hoping that we just have a great day in terms of our attackers that we don't expect to deliver. I'm talking about the Mudriks, if they play, the Maduekes, the Sterlings, who are very hit and miss. I'm hoping they just deliver on this day. But coming into this game, we know Jackson is now out of AFCON, Senegal. He's flying back to Liverpool. He's flying back to Manchester. Then he'll make the short trip to Liverpool. That's the news that's been given. Pochettino is hinting that he could be involved if he gets back in time. If he does get back in time, it's the only change between my lineup and Poch's lineup, Poch's expected lineup. That's the only difference between the two sides. We're going to get into those. On other injuries, like I said, Nkunku, Gusto, back in full training. Don't think they'll start, but it's good to have them back. We know what they can bring to the side. And obviously, yeah, you know, there is a funny stat in there about our crossing this season, which has been the worst in the league. Doesn't surprise me. We have no aerial threat at all. And that plays into this game. Van Dijk and Carney aerially. Don't even waste your time crossing the ball today. Don't even waste your time getting the ball into the box above hip height. Because Van Dijk and Carney will absolutely destroy us aerially. That's not going to change. We don't have aerial threats with its Jackson. Brorio's, yeah, is okay, but nothing special at all. And, I don't even think our crossing accuracy in terms of who's out there putting the balls into the box, they're not even good enough. Reece James obviously is the best and he's not available. So no surprise from me. Takes two to tango with the crosses. We don't have the two or the tango. So, so it is what it is. And yeah, Pochettino did kind of hint about, in the presser, not wanting to be involved in the celebrations and be the party poopers. So that we have been. Remember when we went to Anfield under Mourinho in the 13-14 season, I believe it was, the season before we won the title, the season we went out of the Champions League to Atletico Madrid in the semis. And it was a 3-horse race and we were the little horse. Obviously, Man City went on to win it. But Liverpool, under Brendan Rodgers, we managed to, beat them at Anfield with Demba Ba and obviously Fernando Torres with the assist for Willian. And we went there and we caused chaos and we ruined the day. And that's what we love to do. So that's enough motivation as a club to, continue to be those pricks. If you're not going to win, stop others from being, from winning. So that's kind of everything covered before the team. We're not favourites. I ain't got chest because I think if our team was fully fit and we had everybody available, like I'm talking everybody like Lavia's and Reece James's and like we were coming with the full strength, I think we could really come here and win. I'm being honest. Like I don't look at Liverpool as top of the table and think they're untouchable. I just think when the finer margins come into things, the substitutions off the bench, Nunes is coming on impacting games, Jota's coming on impacting games. You're talking about the centre-backs, the goalkeeper being the best in the world, keeping the ball out of the back of the net in the big crucial moments. They might not dominate a game for 90 minutes. We won't dominate a game for 90 minutes for sure. But when it comes to both boxes, they've got people that decide games. And that's something that we've struggled with. So in terms of on the ball, we got Caicedo, we got Enzo. When Lavia comes back, I think we've got great midfielders. But they've got killers and this is what we lack. So my team and the expected team is pretty much the same. Petrovic for me, there's been some talk, people have been like, oh, is Petrovic gonna be benched for Sanchez? I don't know where this has come from. Maybe I'm out of the loop, but people seem to think Poch has got this favoritism to Sanchez and then he hasn't seen Petrovic perform all this time. And then as soon as Sanchez is fit, now Petrovic can be back on the bench. If that happens, it's an absolute atrocity. It's absolute disgrace. Do you know what I mean? It cannot run. Petrovic has to be starting. Like, it's not a debate. It's not something that's even crossed my mind. Sanchez, park your ass on the bench and become depth. Like, Petrovic is playing brilliantly. He's keeping us in games. He's literally the reason why we're in a replay. There is no reason in the FA Cup. There's no reason for Sanchez to even be thinking about coming into this team. So for me, I don't know how it can cross Pochettino's mind to even make this change. The reason why Sanchez was bought for me was because he was a sweetener for Caicedo. That didn't happen because of the competition from Liverpool. And also because Ben Roberts, the goalkeeping coach, has obviously worked with him previously and there was an opportunity in the market with him now dropping to second or third choice at Brighton. But in terms of like Pochettino, it's not like we signed Martinez at Aston Villa and they're both Argentine. So for me, Petrovic is in the team, and I don't think that's even a question. Right back, I've gone to Sassy. I'm not risking Gusto. If he starts and he's ready via the medical team, great. I know he's in full training, but I don't really want to risk the guys that have just come back for this. Maybe bring them off the bench. But like I said, I don't want them to get re-injured in this game when we have massive games regardless coming up. Wolves is just as big as this afterwards. We need to win that game, right? So Disasi right back, Silva, Badiashile, who I thought was really good at left back, but obviously Colwell's injured and he misses out. Left back Chilwell. In the midfield, we've got Caicedo and Enzo. Gallagher in the 10. I would love to start Carney. I'd love to start Nkunku in the 10 as well. But again, I don't want to risk them. It's also great to have these options off the bench and what a threat they are now. Like, we can actually look to our bench in this game and actually look for in-game management from Pochettino and say, this isn't Washington. This isn't, Broria. This is actually like, you've got talent on the bench here. Even if it's for 10, 20 minutes, you could potentially change the game with these guys on the bench. And I think Gallagher probably would be very useful away at Anfield, to be honest. On the flanks, I've got Palmer and I've got Sterling. And then up front, I have Jackson, although I think he's going to go with Broria. And that's what he's hinted to. And Jackson will be on the bench because he's just come back from AFCON. The reason why I'm starting Jackson is because he's not come back from injury. He's been playing a nice amount of minutes for Senegal, not overplayed. And so what's the reason for not playing? Like, if he gets back in time, then play him. Broya's been absolutely poor. I have to... Let me say this because I didn't maybe say it well enough in my last video. This is what happens when you're 75% fit for the games, right? I don't think Broja's proved his point at all since Jackson's been away. However, the reason why I'm not getting rid of him without replacing him personally is because if you get rid of Broja and you don't replace him, and by the way, I think the money comes in regardless. You know, we're not getting the money this January. Clearly, no one has bid. Everybody wants a loan, right? There's no 35 to 50 million cash offer. So the money will be there in the summer. If it's not, it was never there in the first place. But the most important point is, regardless of what you think of Broja's performances, if you take Broja out of this team, a team that is injury-stricken, that doesn't have enough options as it is, the worst thing you can do to a manager who doesn't have consistency and quality in attack is start taking away options. So now you've got less competition. Now you've got less in-game management on the bench to say, right, there's an option. And also it means Palmer has to go up front. So now you're taking Palmer, who's been brilliant on the right, brilliant in the 10, and you're asking him to play false 9 when you know you're not going to get the best out of him there, but you've just made that a possibility because you've taken Broja out. And if Jackson gets injured and Nkunku's still not fit, and, you know, Nkunku's fitness is like this, then now Palmer's your striker for a string of games. And now you've just killed your right, and you've basically killed two birds with one stone because you're not going to get the best out of Palmer as a striker. So it's just to keep him as an option, just as depth, just as, you know, just to keep it safe. Play it safe. Don't ruin the rest of the positions because you want to get something for a position that's already finished. If you're not going to get a striker in, we're screwed. Simple. Don't make it worse by moving Palmer up front because you've sold your striker and now Madueke has to come in. He might be in form, but if he's not, then that's no good. Mudryk has to... No. We got good competition in the forward line behind the striker. When everybody's fit, it's actually quite healthy. You got Nkunku, you got Carney, you got Palmer, you got Madueke, you got Sterling and Mudryk. Gallagher. That's healthy. That's a buzzing environment, right? Don't now start messing around with that by forcing your best attacker this season, one of your best players, period, in Palmer, to have to play out of position because you sold Broja or you loaned Broja. Come on now. We only got 2 strikers. It's not enough. Don't make it 1. So that's my explanation if it wasn't clear in the previous video. My score prediction for this game. Listen, if I'm thinking with my head, and I did on the Big 6 because I need points in the predictions league, I do think we're probably going to lose this very slenderly. However, now that players are potentially going to be on the bench that I didn't know would be available before I made that prediction on Big 6, you got Gusto, you got Nkunku, you got Carney. Like, it's... You know, I'm starting to get a little bit more optimistic. Again, I'm not confident, but I think with these options on the bench, I'm optimistic. Like, we're starting to see more of the squad. Now, how long is that going to last? Only time will tell. There's still players to come back. There's still Okachukwu. There's still Lavia. There's still James. There's still Colwell now. But it's starting to come together. Jackson. I mean, we didn't know Jackson would be back, right? Senegal are out. Now Jackson's coming back. So it's you know, we could have a fight here. We could have a real fight. Like, genuinely, we could have a real fight. They're favourites. They're top of the league, so there's no point lying about that. But there's a chance. So I'm gonna go with a draw. I'm gonna say maybe like a 2-2, a good game. We'll see. But you know, it's not the be all and end all, guys. If we do come off worse for wear here, we are unlucky or whatever. You know, yeah, no one's going to kill us. We move on to the next one. But ideally, yeah, let's get something from the game because we need points. We need to get up the table. But Wolves is next. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, make sure you let me know in the comments down below what your score prediction is. Big up your damn selves as always. Much love. In a bit, people. Peace.